Design is destiny. It's the ability to put together different elements that work. It involves three things: a vision, dedication to work, and the ability to organize disparate elements to breed success and sustainability. At the heart of this challenge is the life of Romolo Nati, an expatriate, an architect, and a visionary who's applied his trade to the Philippines. Join me as I share the story of Romolo Nati, who shares with us his blueprint for success.
Rolling. 3, 2, 1, action.
Romolo, thanks for hosting us in your lovely kitchen.
Yeah.
It's
you're
a
welcome.
fancy kitchen, good enough for an architect, but
Yeah.
also for a budding chef. So,
Yeah, of
what are we
course.
cooking today?
I was thinking to make matriciana. Matriciana is a typical Roman pasta. Actually, it comes from Amatrice, which is a place close to Rome. And basically, it's based on pancetta, which is a...
I see the pork right there,
You
yeah.
know, it's ready. And of course, sauce, we have tomato sauce and pecorino. These are the basic ingredients of matriciana. So, if you want, I can start to cook and
I'm
I'll
looking
show you the
forward to it, yeah.
process.
While we're at this,
Yes.
let's talk about one of the decisions you made. Let's talk about design. Italy is the design mecca of the world, in everything from food, as we're doing today,
Yes.
to cars,
Yes.
to architecture, of which you are a part of.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about your first choice. You wanted to become a car designer. And I
Correct,
can imagine in Modena, Modena has a lot of people waiting for you,
Yes.
but you decided to shift to architecture. How did that happen?
Actually, as I said, when I was a kid, I was sketching cars everywhere I can, in napkins, in tissue, in the wall, in the desk where I was studying. And so, since most of the important car designers were architects, I thought to enroll in architecture so that I could become a car designer. But then, while I was studying architecture, I got passion to architecture, and so I also love architecture. Which is design buildings. Car design is design cars. So that more or less the principles are the same. But at the end of my study, I decided to do a thesis about a car. So I designed a car for my thesis. And later on, I also participated to some competition for BMW, which I got an award from BMW for my concept car, and also Mitsubishi.
Now, in La Sapienza, you were actually looking at forming your mindset. You have
Yes.
the architecture around you, you had a very culturally rich environment.
Yes.
How did that all come together into choosing your next line and pursuit?
Yeah, as you said, growing up in Rome, in Italy in general, we are surrounded by beautiful architecture, by history. So that's maybe one of the reasons why we are so good in designing. Then, of course, this influence you do not realize, no? But everything gets in your blood. Like myself now, I'm cooking. Italians, all Italian guys know how to cook. So in some way, for us, design is a natural experience.
Well, I've been in Italian kitchens, but the interesting thing about you is you have a methodical way to do it, but you have what the Italians call spezzatura, right? It's basically very effortless
Yeah.
way of looking at things. So,
Yeah, we don't want to make, we want to optimize the energy. Now I'll put the sauce.
Absolutely, okay.
Okay.
Now, while you're doing that,
Yeah.
talk about your architecture career. Where did you get your influences for your principles of design, and how did sustainability come into that picture?
Okay. Again, since I was studying, I was very interested about nature. I find that nature is very elegant in the way it designed a natural living structure, as trees and plants and everything is natural and is surrounding us. So I think that sustainability it can be achieved following nature, taking nature as an inspiration. That's why most of our projects, of my projects, follow nature. Like we designed Coral City, and also the project we did in Cagayan de Oro, Primavera Residences, which is a multi-awarded building, follow the termite mud, actually, in the way we optimize the natural ventilation. So nature is always
So you're aligning with nature. But let's take a step back here. When you were an architect, tell us how that career in Rome grew.
Yeah.
And what made you transition out of Rome to the United States
Yeah.
and into other fields?
Okay, when I was in Rome after my graduation, I started to do some real estate business in a small scale. I used to buy small units in historical places, and these units were actually in a very bad shape because at the time my financial capability were quite limited. So I used to buy what other people don't like because it was these things were in a very bad shape. So people say, why do you buy things like that? Because I was forecasting that through my work, I could transform these units.
So you're basically turning lemon into limoncello.
Something like that, correct. That's a good metaphor.
I guess what I want to understand also, this isn't exactly like crossing the Rubicon when you actually get from an architecture degree
Yes.
into the business of real estate. But
Yes.
how do you complement those two very related but so often conflicting businesses?
That's right, because for example, architects are always thinking about beauty and not too much about
The practicalities.
Correct, and about the cost. So being an entrepreneur helped me also to understand the importance of a cost while I'm designing from a very early stage. It's very important to achieve the best performance and the best beauty, but always thinking about the cost, because at the end we have to sell what we do, and so that's the help that my entrepreneur career helped.
So this integrated mindset you have, just like how everything is melding very well with our amatriciana
Correct.
sauce. Well, I actually can't wait for you to actually fry that pancetta, which you actually brought with your girlfriend
Yeah,
on
correct.
the way in. So it's fresh from Italy.
It's fresh.
Can't wait
All the
for it.
ingredients actually are fresh from Italy.
This is my favorite though.
Yeah. This is important again to blend the pasta, and at this point we have just to eat it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well, listen, we're going to get to the heart of the matter
Yes.
as we partake of this sumptuous meal.
Yes.
We'll talk about your career and your transition to the country in just a bit.
Okay,
But I look forward to
perfect.
eating
Yeah.
your pasta. Buon appetito.
Buon appetito. We thought we can propose a different kind of development, and we can really try to bring back a balance between human development and the environment. That's what we try to do. And when we say the environment, we are not only thinking about natural environment, but we think about also the social environment.
While you're eating, let's talk about your journeys. You had a successful real estate career in Roma, and you decided to leave and make the transition. You don't strike me as a complacent person. So you actually went to the bigger market, and a more challenging market in the US. How did that happen? Why did it happen?
Actually, when I was in the US, I met some Filipinos, and we got along very well, and I discovered the Filipino culture, which is very similar to the Italian culture, and they invited me in 2007 to see the Philippines, to visit. And so when I came, I clicked, I like the place, I like the people, and I saw a lot of potentials here. This is a developing country. To me, it's like to be in Asia, but in a place which is very close to Italy. So I thought, why don't try to do something here? And of course, I had to find for the right partner, because when you do business outside your place, you have to find a local partner.
Well, let's hold that thought on partner. Let's talk
Yes.
about a partnership in a more romantic sense. That's actually what keeps you coming back here, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. Partner is very important in your business, but in your private life even more. I met Janice, and I really to thank her, because she really helped me. She understood that when you have to set up a business, many times you are late, you are stressed, sometimes you are nervous, but you need people that support your vision.
So love and labor coming together in the Philippines. Janice, tell us how you met, what keeps this partnership growing strong, and your family that's growing, especially with your beautiful daughter, Mia.
We met on that day like 4 times on a Sunday. So it's early morning, and I saw this Italian guy in the lobby. He's very noisy. I was like, who is that guy? Very noisy. And then the next thing, I go to the church, I came back. He is in the pool again. He's swimming. And the next thing I know, I'm bumping into him again in Greenbelt. So I said, okay, I think I know this guy. And
Were you stalking Janice?
No.
It was a fate.
Actually,
You
I
think?
thought the opposite.
No, it must have been just fate.
yes, we say hello in a coffee in Greenbelt. And then we had a dinner. And from that day,
We are together.
we are together from that day. his work is always his priority, and I admire that to him. That's why whenever he's busy, whenever he has to, 100% to be in his work, I find it more attractive. That's what makes me attracted to him, his work.
It's funny, I remember this film, I don't know if it was an Italian one, but it said that love is not a feeling, it's an ability. Yeah. So how do you make that grow into your love for each other, your family, your beautiful daughter, and your love for this adopted country of yours?
I would say that we didn't make any special effort. Everything was so natural, like in the business. Even in the business, of course, we had several big problems, obstacles, I would say. But we succeed because we took it as a natural series of events, and so that's the way to go. As I said before, as I said earlier, nature is always an inspiration, and also in nature everything is natural, nothing is in a hurry.
And nature is also resilient, so you can imagine you took that lesson as you went through your difficulties in your business.
Correct. That's a lesson.
Now, when we talk about the Philippines and sustainability, as a developing country, it has its challenges. You've got a large population, you've got over-concentration in Metro Manila. It seems to be a challenge for many, but you saw it as an opportunity. What exactly was your vision for the Philippines, and how has it grown to be what it is today?
Yeah. Okay, when I first came in the Philippines, I saw that people were talking about the Philippines only thinking about Metro Manila. But going around to around the Philippines, I of course I experienced to be in many different places, in many different cities, and the overcrowd situation that we have in Manila is because people during the past or Filipino moved to Manila because they thought their opportunities were here.
Yes.
But time changed. Now we have internet. It's easy to fly. So my idea was, why don't we give the opportunity to Filipinos in the Philippines, to expat and to overseas Filipino abroad, to go back to their provinces. So in this way, we will create a kind of, we call it centrifugal migration, which is the opposite of...
You're finding outward.
Correct. So we with my partner, Giorgio Leviste, we thought to set up this company, Italpinas. Again, the name itself now is a combination between Italy and Filipinas, and to promote sustainable living, green buildings, but accessible for the middle class in surrounding, we like to call them emerging cities. So we started in Cagayan de Oro, and now we have new projects in the pipeline, in Batangas, yes, in many other places.
Now let's talk about your partnership with a Filipino-oriented firm. So Attorney Jose Leviste III is actually a lawyer, and from one of the prominent families here. Did you find an initial warming up, or was this a difficult beginning, or did you hit it off right away, and how did you build on that partnership?
Really right away. I mean, again, as I met Janice, it was very easy. It was not very easy to find the right partner, I have to say, because when I decided to come in and work in the Philippines, I met several companies, I met several people, but no one understood, or let's say no one really wanted to enter this endeavor, which was not easy, because I was a small investor that wanted to set up a company with a big vision. So established company, established entrepreneur didn't want to really risk too much. And Giorgio at that time was coming back from Australia.
Yes.
And when we met with Giorgio, we recognized right away that we had the same advocacy. We thought we can propose a different kind of development, and we can really bring back, try to bring back a balance between human development and the environment. That's what we try to do. And when we say the environment, we are not only thinking about natural environment, but we think about also the social environment. It's very important. Filipinos are very social people, so we want to create an environment where they can develop and enhance social relation between people, of course, without harming the environment.
So everything from building densities to work and play spaces, those things are factored into your designs, like ecosystems and self-contained communities?
Correct. It's as a matter of fact, the environment shape our mode and ourself as we shape our environment. So it's very important from our perspective to start from the very early stage of our design to consider this aspect. So we, as I said, every building is like a living structure which contain other living structure which are humans. So that's the way we conceptualize building, and we also maintain this community, creating website and organizing event in such a way that people can recognize themselves in our projects.
Romolo, I can't wait to hear more about your vision, but first, the food is getting cold. The
Yes.
pecorino is calling. It's excellent. It's a very sharp contrast with amatriciana. So, buon appetito.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Or chin chin, as we
Cheers.
said in
Chin
Italy.
yes.
Chin chin. If you ask me how do I see myself, my company, and the country in 20 years from now, I hope I will see a cleaner country with better performing buildings, and where people can walk easily in their cities. My inspiration is really, I want to bring peace between human development and nature, because I think we forgot we have only one Earth, so we really have to take care of it for our children also.
So Romolo, this is the perfect vantage point to talk about design. You're looking at a 360-degree view of a city that has a burgeoning skyline and other centers that are actually growing their own skylines. But as I understand from you, growth is not necessarily good design. How do you balance design with sustainability?
We as architect and developer, we have to think about communities. When people say your building look different, I say because they perform differently. So when we design, we have to think about the performance of the building and the life after the construction. That's, I think, one of the most important points where architect and developer have to focus. We have to think that the life of a building is maybe 50 years or more. So what is going to happen in this building after we have turned over the building? So same is for a city. We have to think about buildings, and we have to think about the space between buildings, because that's the place where we spend most of our time.
Now, one of your favorite quotes that you shared with us earlier is of Buckminster Fuller, who said that the best way to create the future is to design it. Talk to us about how that motto has influenced your principles, your philosophy, and your work.
When I have to design something, or I have to develop something, I think first about myself. I think that many times it's better to build what we want rather than to wait for others to do what we expect to be. Another quote from Mahatma Gandhi: "If you want the change, be the change."
Be the change, yes.
So that's our philosophy. We have to be active creator of our future. This can be in architecture, in development, in any kind of discipline. So we have to be proactive and build what we would like to live in this case, where we would like to live as customers. So
now let's focus on your stock and trade. Your architectural firm and now real estate development firm has gone public.
Yep.
And I want to understand how you were able to balance your personal philosophy now as a public company, and how do you balance the role and the vision and interests of stakeholders with that vision?
When we started, just to give you an episode that really impressed myself, when we started with Giorgio, we wanted to develop this building in Cagayan de Oro, which was already a concept of a green building in a secondary city. We had the chance to talk with some big established developer, and they were telling us, don't do this building there because people will never understand this building. So we thought these people were wrong, because we thought that people are ready to accept and to experience a different kind of product in real estate.
You believed in an aspirational feeling of the market.
Correct, because it's important to do market research, market survey, but many times people don't really know how to explain the product they want. But if you give them this product, which is different, which make their life a better life, they may buy it and they live it.
Now, you have chosen deliberately to build outside of Metro Manila, and in a weird way, it is also about a greenfield approach to development. You're starting from scratch in certain land banks that don't have communities yet, but you're growing these communities. Tell us about how you intend to make these sustainable communities and model communities in the future.
You know, when you and I like the same product, the same philosophy, eventually we'll start to build a community. So the important for us as developer, we have to create a focus point, a hub where people with same inspiration, with same idea, same philosophy can gather together, and this will create a spontaneous process, which eventually create a community.
That sounds like you're really aligning with nature in terms of your vision. But in your long-term vision, let's say 20 years from now, Romolo, Nati, still the head of Italpinas, what else are you going to be doing then, and how is it going to contribute to the development of your adopted country?
Okay, I think that we have to focus as a developer, above all in the Philippines, we have to blend architecture, real estate, and power. Power in the Philippines is, as you know, very expensive, and there is not enough. So if you consider that in the Philippines around 60% of power consumption is because of aircon, aircon are used mainly in buildings, what we have to do, we have to connect these two things, real estate and power.
Yeah,
so,
distributed generation format.
Correct,
right?
correct. So that, for example, in all our buildings, I mean, the built ones and the one that we are going to build, there is always this relation between renewable energy, we like to call passive green energy, but active green energy. Means passive, we have to reduce energy consumption in our units so that the consumption of energy will be lower, but at the same time we have to create energy. So if you ask me how do I see myself, my company, the country in 20 years from now, I hope I will see a cleaner country with better performing buildings, and where people can walk easily in their cities. My inspiration is really, I want to bring peace between human development and nature, because I think we forgot that nature, we have only one Earth, so we really have to take care of it for our children also.
And Romolo, with that, I want to thank you for your time and your vision for these sustainable communities. I can't wait to see them.
Thank you.
Mille grazie, buona fortuna.
Grazie, it was a pleasure.
All right,
thank you. Bye-bye.
Romolo and Nati's recipe for success is also a blueprint for sustainability, because it involves a long-term vision of growth and service, a passion to learn, adapt, and thrive in a changing culture and environment. And finally, homegrown values you can take anywhere with you around the world and develop yourself professionally, personally, and the community around you while keeping your identity intact. This has been Quintin Pastrana for Thought Leaders. Join me again next week.